Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're embarking on a journey that taps into something, well, profoundly human. Our universal fascination with things that simply vanish. Think about it. A whisper of a civilization, a powerful empire, an entire way of life, just gone.
It's captivating, isn't it?
It really is. It's a mystery that tugs at us, I think. It echoes our own anxieties about fragility and impermanence, maybe, even in our incredibly advanced world.
Definitely.
We're not just talking about how they disappeared today, but maybe why their stories continue to, well, captivate us, haunt us even.
Okay, let's unpack this.
You've hit on a core truth there. What's truly fascinating, I think, is that these aren't just dusty ancient ruins or, forgotten names on a timeline.
No, not at all.
They are profound mirrors, aren't they? Reflecting human ambition at its absolute zenith, but also the inherent fragility of even the most sophisticated societies.
And also resilience. Let's not forget that. The resilience of the human spirit.
Absolutely. So today, we're diving deep into some truly compelling sources. We've got a detailed analysis titled Vanished Civilizations, Indus, Mesopotamia, and Maya Explained, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really solid piece.
And we're supplementing that with various historical accounts, some psychological studies, sociological theories, the works.
Right. Our mission for you, our listener, is to try and extract the most potent insights from all this.
Yeah.
To really understand what happened to these incredible civilizations.
And crucially, to grasp their relevance for your world today. Why should you care?
Exactly. It's about more than just history lessons. It's about understanding the human condition, really. Past, present, and maybe future.
Let's find out.
Okay, so if we're going to truly understand the fall,
Yeah.
we really need to appreciate the peak first, right?
Makes sense. Got to know what was lost.
So let's set the scene with the factual foundations, the when and where of these incredible societies. Lay the groundwork.
We're going to start with the Indus Valley Civilization, then we'll move to Mesopotamia, and finally, the Maya.
3 heavy hitters.
Definitely. Each one is just a testament to human ingenuity, achieving these immense heights before their eventual, decline.
All right, first up, the Indus Valley Civilization, or IVC as it's often called.
Right.
This society flourished along the banks of the Indus River, sprawling across what we now know as modern Pakistan and northwest India.
And it's one of the world's absolute earliest urban societies, a true pioneer in city living.
And when we say cities, we're not talking about like a few huts clustered together.
No, not at all. We mean incredible metropolises like Mohenjo, Daro, and Harappa. Huge, complex places.
And we need to emphasize the sheer scale and, frankly, the foresight of their achievements. Let's really dig into their urban planning.
Yeah, that's the mind-blowing part for me.
These cities weren't just random collections of buildings. They were meticulously designed. It's almost like they had a blueprint.
Right. Picture grid-patterned streets, these wide avenues running north-south and east-west, creating really distinct city blocks.
Yeah, it wasn't haphazard growth at all. It really suggests a highly organized, maybe a central authority, something capable of executing these grand plans over huge territories.
Like they were building for the future, not just for the immediate need.
Exactly. And maybe the most astonishing thing for their time, they had advanced drainage and sanitation systems.
I mean, thousands of years ago. Think about that.
A civilization had the foresight, the engineering skill, to implement systems for managing wastewater and sanitation on a citywide scale.
We're talking covered drains along the streets, waste pipes coming from individual houses.
Even private wells in many homes. It speaks to an incredibly sophisticated understanding of public health, of communal living, way ahead of many later societies.
Centuries ahead, even compared to parts of Europe much, much later.
And what's fascinating here, too, is they had standardized weights and measures.
That sounds like a small detail, but it's huge, isn't it?
It's massive. What it really signifies is a highly regulated, probably quite fair, trade system across their vast territory.
So imagine merchants using the exact same cubic weights, made from this stone called chert.
Whether they were trading in Harappa or Mohenjo-Daro, hundreds of miles apart, it points to a really complex economic structure.
Fostering trust, consistency,
and some kind of robust governance that enforced these standards.
Yeah.
It really paints a picture of an incredibly organized, almost futuristic society for its time.
It really does. It's mind-boggling. So their timeline, it flows from the early Harappan phase, starting around 3300 BCE. That's where the foundations of their urban culture began to emerge.
The early stages.
Then things really kicked into high gear during the mature Harappan phase, roughly 2600 to 1900 BCE.
Their peak.
Absolutely. Peak urbanization, the great cities flourish, trade networks span huge distances, their culture solidified.
But then,
From 1900 BCE onwards, we see this crucial shift, a gradual decline.
right, the mystery begins.
Their cities were mysteriously abandoned, slowly depopulated, and that distinctive urban way of life just faded.
And it's crucial to underscore that word, gradual.
Yes, the source material really emphasizes this. It wasn't an overnight cataclysm, was it? It was a slow, unfolding process over centuries.
Indeed. And when you consider those details, again, the precise grid patterns, the drainage, those standardized weights, it raises some really intriguing questions for you listening to ponder.
Like, what does that level of standardization and planning suggest about their social structure?
Was it highly centralized? Maybe ruled by a priestly class? Or perhaps a network of cooperating city-states? We don't really know for sure.
And how did they manage trade across such a wide area, from Mesopotamia all the way to modern-day Afghanistan?
And how does a system so sophisticated, so seemingly well-ordered, so resilient for so long, just begin to disappear over time?
The gradual nature just adds another layer of enigma, doesn't it? Suggests complex underlying factors, a slow unraveling maybe, rather than a sharp break.
Exactly. Still so many questions.
Okay, now let's pivot. Let's go to a region often called the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia.
Ah yes, the land between the rivers, Tigris and Euphrates.
A dynamic, fertile crescent that saw this incredible succession of powerful cultures rise and fall. Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians.
Just saying those names evokes, ancient power, monumental achievements, stuff that really shaped the foundation of human society.
And their contributions truly were foundational. They set precedents for millennia to come.
Absolutely. Mesopotamia gave the world the very first writing system, cuneiform.
Not just simple pictures, right? This was complex.
Incredibly complex.
Yep.
Wedge-shaped marks pressed into soft clay tablets with a stylus. Imagine the impact of being able to record things.
Not just grain transactions, but laws, history, epic literature like the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Even prophecies. It wasn't just record-keeping. It enabled the accumulation, the dissemination of knowledge on an unprecedented scale.
Allowing complex societies to manage huge empires, transmit wisdom across generations.
It's a massive leap. And they also developed a codified law. Perhaps the most famous example is the Code of Hammurabi.
Around 1754 BCE, wasn't it?
Roughly, yes. And this wasn't just a random list of rules. It was a comprehensive legal framework inscribed on these monumental stone pillars, stelae.
Aimed at establishing justice and order.
Covered everything from family law, property rights, trade regulations, punishments for crimes, often reflecting the social hierarchy, of course.
But it had a profound influence on later legal systems, didn't it? Laid the groundwork for principles we still use today.
Absolutely. And let's not forget their early astronomy. These weren't just casual stargazers.
No, they were meticulous observers, charting celestial movements with remarkable precision.
They developed sophisticated methods for tracking planets, predicting eclipses, understanding the cycles of the moon.
Their observations were so advanced they actually formed the basis for later Greek and even modern astronomical studies.
These were truly groundbreaking innovations that continue to shape our world. It shows that science, systematic observation, it's as ancient as civilization itself.
It's astounding, isn't it? Just thinking about the sheer volume of firsts from this one region.
Writing, codified law, systematic astronomy, sophisticated math.
It's no wonder it's called the cradle of civilization. You look at what they achieved, and it's almost like watching the building blocks of human progress being laid down in real time.
And their timeline really showcases this succession of power and innovation. You see Sumerian city-states starting to form around 3500 BCE.
Basically kickstarting urban life, large-scale, organized society as we know it.
Then comes the rise of the Akkadian Empire under Sargon, around 223-34 BCE, one of the first true empires, uniting vast territories.
The region saw so much conquest and change: the Babylonian Empire of Hammurabi, the formidable Neo-Assyrian Empire.
Right, leading up to the fall of that Assyrian Empire in 612 BCE.
And finally, Babylon falling to Cyrus the Great of Persia in 539 BCE. That marked the effective end of Mesopotamian independence as a distinct, dominant cultural force, didn't it?
Yeah, ushering in new eras of Persian, then Greek, then Roman rule.
Yeah.
But the foundations they laid endured.
Okay, our third stop takes us somewhere completely different. To the lush, challenging landscapes of modern Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, home to the incredible Maya civilization.
The jungle geniuses.
A great description.
Known for their incredibly advanced calendar system, their complex hieroglyphic writing, and, of course, those massive, awe-inspiring stepped pyramids poking out of the jungle canopy.
And what's truly astonishing about the Maya, I think, is that they achieved all of this, the precision of their calendar, the complexity of their writing, the sheer scale of their pyramid.
Without metal tools.
Exactly. Think about the sheer manual labor, the ingenuity, the organizational capacity needed to quarry, carve, move massive stones, weighing tons.
All using only tools made of stone, wood, and bone. It's just a testament to incredible engineering and a highly coordinated workforce.
Their calendar system, for example, it wasn't just accurate, it was incredibly intricate. Multiple interlocking cycles. The 260-day Solkin, the 365-day Hab, combining to create a 52-year cycle, the calendar round.
And they also had the long count calendar, tracking time over vast periods. Allowed them to record events way into the past and future with remarkable precision.
Which supported everything from agriculture to religious ceremonies to astrology.
And their hieroglyphic writing was equally sophisticated. A system combining logograms, symbols for words, with syllabic signs.
Allowing them to record detailed dynastic histories, royal lineages, astronomical observations, religious texts, a huge range.
Absolutely. And the classic period, roughly 250 to 900 CE, that was their golden age, really.
A time of immense cultural and architectural boom, when cities like Tikal, Palenque, Copan reached their peak. Monumental architecture, intricate art, vibrant intellectual life.
Just an explosion of creativity and development.
Something shifts dramatically.
Yeah, the pattern repeats, but differently.
The timeline for the Maya sees these early settlements emerge way back around 2000 BCE, leading into that incredible classic period from 250 to 900 CE. Right. But that period ends with the mysterious, widespread abandonment of many of their major cities, particularly in the southern lowlands.
It's a striking contrast to the long, slow decline of the Indus, isn't it? Seems more abrupt in some ways, at least for the cities.
It does. But importantly, while the cities were abandoned, it wasn't the end of the Maya people themselves. We'll definitely circle back to that.
A crucial distinction.
The final act, politically at least, was the Spanish conquest of Nochpenten, the last independent Maya stronghold in 1697 CE. That marked the end of their political independence.
You've hit on that crucial distinction there. While their magnificent urban centers were indeed abandoned, the civilization didn't fully vanish in the same way the Indus Valley's urban culture seemed to.
Right, the people persisted.
They adapted, shifted their population centers. This sets up a really interesting theme for later discussion: cultural continuity versus urban collapse.
But for now, just consider, what exactly does mysterious abandonment imply?
It suggests something perhaps other than just violent overthrow or a single, sudden natural disaster, doesn't it? It prompts us to look deeper.
Into the internal dynamics, the environmental pressures they faced. Yeah, it's complex.
So we've laid out the historical groundwork, admired their peaks, acknowledged their declines, quiet or maybe more abrupt.
Right, the facts and figures.
But now let's transition. Let's move from the timelines to the profound, emotional, the societal questions these vanished civilizations provoke.
Yeah, why do these particular stories continue to haunt us? Why do they resonate so deeply in the modern psyche?
Here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Hashtag collective memory and the fear of collapse.
Okay, from a psychological angle, the disappearance of these great societies, it seems to tap directly into what we could call civilizational anxiety.
That underlying fear.
Yeah, the primal, maybe subconscious fear that no matter how advanced, how interconnected, how seemingly robust our own society becomes, we are still inherently vulnerable to collapse.
It's a recognition of our own impermanence, isn't it?
Exactly. Carl Jung, for instance, might frame this resonance as part of the collective unconscious.
That idea that all humans share certain innate universal patterns, archetypes, that go beyond individual experience.
Right. These stories of rise and fall resonate with these mythic motifs echoing the rise and fall of human ambition. It's a narrative deeply embedded in our shared human experience, a recurring dream almost of glory and ruin.
And this profound, deep-seated fear isn't just some abstract concept. It manifests in very real ways in our modern world, doesn't it?
I can certainly see that argument. You really can see it everywhere if you start looking, can't you?
Absolutely.
Think about our modern anxieties. The constant barrage of news about, say, global pandemics that disrupt everything.
Or the precariousness of economic crises that can unravel livelihoods almost overnight.
The escalating environmental threats, climate change, resource scarcity, or even the underlying tensions of global politics, the shadow of large-scale conflict.
Don't these concerns connect directly back to this ancient universal fear of societal collapse?
It feels like it. It's almost as if these ancient stories act as a cultural touchstone for our contemporary worries, a way for us to process these anxieties through historical narratives.
Seeking warnings, maybe? Perhaps reassurance sometimes, too?
Could be. #tag social behavior and urban decay.
And moving from the psychological to the sociological, many scholars point to a phenomenon you could call urban fatigue.
Not just people getting tired of city life, though.
No, it's more theoretical. It's the observation that complex societies, over time, can become too rigid, maybe too hierarchical, or too dependent on unstable or increasingly costly systems.
Which leads us to
The insightful Tainter theory of collapse, put forth by Joseph Tainter back in 1998.
Right, I've heard of this.
In essence, Tainter argues that societies tend to fall when they become too complex and too costly to sustain.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure, think of it like an overly complicated machine. Initially, adding more parts, more layers of bureaucracy, more specialized infrastructure makes it more efficient, more powerful.
Right. Makes sense.
But at a certain point, the machine becomes so intricate that the cost of maintaining it, the energy needed, the resources to feed the population, the burden of taxation, the potential for any single part breaking down and causing cascade failure, it all becomes overwhelmingly prohibitive.
So the benefits of complexity start to yield diminishing returns.
Exactly, and the whole system becomes fragile, vulnerable.
That analogy really helps put it into perspective, makes a complex theory quite relatable, and we actually see illustrative examples of this in our source material, don't we?
We do?
For the Indus Valley Civilization, the source notes that citizens abandoned their cities quietly. There were no signs of war or mass burial.
Which is fascinating because it defies that typical dramatic collapse narrative we often imagine.
Right. No visible external enemy, no evidence of a huge battle. Instead, it suggests a slow, perhaps even voluntary dissolution.
Populations gradually dispersing into smaller, more sustainable settlements in the countryside.
So what does this lack of violent upheaval tell us about their society or the nature of their decline?
Perhaps it hints at a less centralized, maybe more adaptable social structure that could simply de-urbanize rather than violently shatter. It's a possibility.
It's a remarkable contrast. And then in even starker contrast, consider the Maya.
Ah, yes. The stelae.
During their decline, we see this poignant evidence that their elites kept erecting stelae, those monumental carved stones,
Celebrating rulers, their achievements.
even as their cities were visibly crumbling around them.
It's a phenomenon akin to what we might call elite panic, maybe, or just denial.
It speaks to a profound human psychology at play, doesn't it? The stubborn refusal to acknowledge imminent crisis.
The desperate attempt to maintain appearances, legitimacy, the established order, even as the foundations crumble and resources dwindle.
It's like the orchestra playing on the Titanic, keeping up the facade of normalcy.
And that behavior can be rooted in things like cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding contradictory beliefs, or maybe just a powerful need for self-preservation of status.
Making it impossible for those at the top to imagine or embrace alternative futures.
It's a stark reminder of how challenging it can be for leadership to adapt in the face of deep systemic problems, often prioritizing their own power or an outdated vision over pragmatic solutions.
Then there's Mesopotamia. The source describes it as a textbook example of systemic fragility.
Right. Their downfall wasn't really a single event, but more a confluence of multiple interacting stressors.
Like environmental degradation.
Yeah, the salinization of their highly productive irrigated farmlands, a long-term consequence of over-irrigation in an arid climate. Big problem.
And persistent political infighting.
Between various city-states and empires, leading to constant warfare that drained resources, destabilized regions.
And repeated invasions from external groups, taking advantage of those internal weaknesses.
Exactly. These multiple stressors converge to create a kind of complete breakdown of their incredibly advanced, yet ultimately vulnerable systems.
So these specific societal behaviors really do illustrate Tainter's theory, showing how increasing complexity and external pressures can lead to a breaking point.
Absolutely. And it truly begs the question, what does this tell us about the warning signs of decline that we might even overlook in our own time?
Are we paying enough attention to the creeping issues, the slow degradations, before they cascade into something irreversible?
A sobering thought.
These insights into ancient social dynamics They aren't just fascinating historical anecdotes, are they? They offer crucial, maybe even urgent lessons for today's world.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for us right now? #, echoes in climate change, urban planning, and global politics.
Well, the parallels are striking, especially when you look at climate and the environment.
Definitely. The source points directly to climate-induced collapse in both the Indus and Maya regions, primarily through prolonged droughts, shifts in weather patterns.
And this mirrors today's anxieties around global warming with, frankly, chilling precision.
We have historical evidence of significant environmental stress in these ancient societies, the weakening of monsoon patterns that sustained the Indus Valley's agriculture,
Dramatic river course shifts that left cities literally without water.
and prolonged, devastating droughts in the Maya heartland that just crippled their food supply.
These aren't just abstract concepts from the past. They feel like direct historical precedents for contemporary concerns.
About the impacts of climate change, escalating resource scarcity, the potential for mass migrations as environments become uninhabitable.
The past, in this sense, really is prologue. It offers a sobering glimpse into potential future realities if we fail to adapt.
And it's not just climate, is it? The over-reliance on fragile systems, like Mesopotamia's elaborate irrigation networks. That resonates deeply with our modern world, too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. We are profoundly dependent on incredibly complex, often delicate systems.
Or to digital infrastructure, for instance. The backbone of almost everything we do: banking, communication, transport,
A
healthcare,
major cyber attack, a power grid failure. The ripple effects could be catastrophic.
or our interconnected global supply chains. A disruption on one side of the world, a natural disaster, a geopolitical conflict can have immediate severe consequences thousands of miles away. Shortages, economic instability.
And of course, our continued reliance on fossil fuels. With its inherent price volatility, geopolitical leverage, that creates its own set of vulnerabilities.
Just as a localized failure in Mesopotamia's irrigation, maybe neglected maintenance, maybe salinization could cascade into widespread agricultural collapse and societal unrest.
A disruption in one area of our modern complex systems can trigger a chain reaction, leading to breakdown across seemingly unrelated sectors.
Which brings us to another fascinating aspect: pop culture's enduring fascination with these narratives.
Right, from apocalypse narratives in films and books to countless sci-fi dystopias.
The trope of a great civilization falling remains an incredibly powerful metaphor. It's a way for us to explore our deepest fears, maybe our hopes too, about the future.
Without having to actually live through it.
Exactly. These stories allow us to process the anxieties of our time: climate change, AI, social fragmentation, through a fictional lens.
You see it everywhere, don't you? Take, for example, that recent series, Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that definitely stirred the pot.
It sparked a massive amount of public interest, and certainly a lot of debate about hidden histories, lost wisdom, suggesting ancient advanced civilizations way back.
The very fact that something like that can capture millions of viewers' imaginations speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does. Why do these narratives resonate so deeply with modern audiences? What psychological need do they fulfill?
Is it a way for us to process our own collected anxieties about the fragility of our present?
Or perhaps a yearning for a grander, more mysterious explanation for things, something beyond the mundane.
It's almost as if we want to believe that if great civilizations fell, they must have done so for some epic, dramatic reason.
Rather than slow, creeping, potentially manageable problems.
That's a fascinating question.
That's a great question, and it leads us perfectly into our next section. Because as much as these vanished civilizations captivate us, there are also, let's face it, a lot of common misconceptions and sensationalized narratives floating around.
Oh, definitely, myths abound.
So it's time to peel back those layers, maybe reveal some surprising truths that are often far more fascinating than the myths themselves. #tag Indus Valley.
Okay, let's start with the Indus Valley again. The prevailing myth, often popularized, is that it just vanished overnight.
Like, poof, gone. Maybe a sudden cataclysm, an invasion.
Right. But the truth, as revealed by our source material and decades of careful archaeological work, is far more nuanced. It was a gradual de-urbanization over centuries.
A slow, unfolding process, not a sudden shock.
Exactly. Archaeologists haven't found widespread signs of destruction, massive battles, or sudden mass burials that would indicate a single violent end.
Instead, they see a steady decline in the quality of urban life, a reduction in the size and complexity of settlements.
And a shift of populations away from the major cities towards smaller, perhaps more sustainable rural communities.
And this decline is linked to possible environmental changes, right?
That's the leading theory. Shifts in river courses, making irrigation difficult, or the weakening of the vital monsoon patterns that sustain their agriculture, leading to food shortages.
It really highlights how climate stress can lead to a slow transformation rather than just an abrupt societal collapse.
And adding to the profound mystery, of course, is its writing system. It remains an enigma. There's no deciphered script yet.
Still unreadable after all this time.
Which means, unlike Mesopotamia or Egypt, we still can't read their own accounts of daily life, their beliefs, their precise reasons for decline.
It just adds to the enduring puzzle, doesn't it? But also underscores the ongoing challenging work of archaeology and linguistics. We just don't have all the answers.
Not even close for the IVC. #tag Mesopotamia.
Okay, next. Mesopotamia. The common perception, often fueled by tales of conquest Sargon, the Assyrians, is that they were primarily civilized but warmongering.
Right, the image of constant battle and empire building.
And while conflict was certainly a part of their history, it was a dynamic region. No doubt that's really not the whole picture, is it?
Not at all. The truth is that Mesopotamia also birthed incredibly collaborative and complex systems. Think codified law, ziggurats as communal hubs, libraries like Ashurbanipal's.
Right. The Code of Hammurabi wasn't just about punishments, it was about establishing a detailed framework for a functioning cooperative society, dealing with family, property, professional responsibility.
And ziggurats, those massive stepped pyramids, they were far more than just religious centers.
They were often at the heart of the city's economic life, right? Functioning as granaries, administrative centers, workshops.
Bringing communities together for civic and economic purposes. Real communal hubs.
And libraries, like the famous one at Nineveh, built by King Ashurbanipal in the 7th century BCE. Not just collections of scrolls.
No, these were places for the systematic collection, preservation, study of knowledge, housing tens of thousands of cuneiform tablets.
Covering everything from omens and rituals to medical texts and literary epics.
These aspects truly show a sophisticated, cooperative, intellectually rich side to Mesopotamian societies, highlighting their immense contribution to human knowledge and organization way beyond just warfare.
And here's a rare fact that often gets overlooked. Sumerian priests were often early scientists.
That's fascinating. Not just religious figures.
No, they were meticulously mapping stars, making astronomical observations that were remarkably precise for their time.
Predicting eclipses, tracking planets, understanding moon cycles, vital for agriculture, for religious festivals.
They also devised sophisticated mathematical systems, notably a base 60 system.
Base 60, unlike our base 10.
Right. Theirs was built around the number 60, which is highly divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 60.
Which makes it incredibly efficient for fractions and divisions.
Exactly. And it's truly remarkable how a system developed thousands of years ago still underpins our modern measurements of time, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and angles in a circle.
Wow. That's not just a historical curiosity. It underscores the really long-lasting impact of their intellectual contributions on math and astronomy. Still with us today.
Amazing legacy. #tag Maya.
Finally, the Maya. The most persistent and maybe the most damaging myth is that the entire Maya population disappeared after the Classic Period collapse.
Right, leaving behind these lost cities for explorers to rediscover in the jungle.
This is a crucial one to debunk. The truth, unequivocally, is that cities were abandoned, but the Maya people still exist today, preserving their language and traditions.
Millions of people who identify as Maya living in the region today.
It's a powerful counter-narrative to that Western colonial view of lost civilizations, which often implies an end to the people themselves.
It's vital to understand that a culture can transform, shift its centers of power, adapt, without its entire population vanishing or its heritage disappearing.
Exactly. And diving deeper into their written records, we find another fascinating truth.
About the glyphs.
Yeah. Some glyphs, those intricate carved symbols on stelae and temple walls, were once thought to be purely religious or cosmological. Turns out, many were actually dynastic propaganda.
So, political spin. In ancient Maya times.
Pretty much. Their elaborate inscriptions weren't always divine pronouncements or objective history. They were often shrewd political messaging.
Emphasizing a ruler's divine lineage, exaggerating military victories.
Interpreting astronomical events as auspicious signs for their reign. It was a sophisticated system of maintaining power and public perception, disguised as divine rule or timeless history.
That reveals a truly sophisticated understanding of power dynamics, how to shape public opinion, something we can certainly relate to in our modern world.
Absolutely. Political messaging masquerading as objective truth is hardly new.
So how do these truths The gradual decline of the Indus, the collaborative spirit of Mesopotamia, the enduring Maya people, the political maneuvering in Maya society. How do they challenge our assumptions about ancient societies?
And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for how we interpret historical evidence? Reminding us that even facts can have a political dimension, can be shaped by those in power.
Always need to read between the lines, perhaps.
Or at least understand who wrote the lines and why.
That's a profound question, and it leads us directly to how different scholars, different theorists, interpret the collapse of these civilizations.
Because while some theories are widely accepted within academia,
others stir considerable debate, often fueled by our own contemporary desires for answers, or maybe for more mysterious answers. #, mainstream scholars.
Okay, on the mainstream side, you have figures like Jared Diamond. His seminal work, Collapse: How Societies Choose to Fail or Succeed.
A classic.
It really emphasizes environmental mismanagement as a primary driver for the downfall of many societies. His approach often highlights ecological fragility.
Deforestation, soil erosion, water mismanagement. How human practices can exacerbate environmental stress, leading to demise.
Right. He's known for drawing these wide-ranging comparisons across very diverse historical and geographical contexts.
Then there's Joseph Tainter, whom we mentioned earlier, focusing on societal complexity and diminishing returns.
His theory is particularly robust, I think, because it offers a framework you can apply across different historical cases.
Showing how the increasing cost of maintaining complex social, political, economic structures can eventually lead to collapse.
When the returns from that complexity no longer outweigh the investment, it's an economic argument in a way.
And for the Maya specifically, we have Linda Shale, a prominent Mayanist scholar.
Her groundbreaking work, through meticulous decipherment of Maya hieroglyphs, showed how Maya writing truly reflected incredibly intricate political drama, not just spiritual life.
She revealed the names, the histories, the political machinations of Maya kings and queens.
Connecting directly to that idea of dynastic propaganda we just discussed, fundamentally changing our understanding of Maya governance and history.
So, I'm curious, why are these mainstream theories generally accepted? What makes them robust compared to other explanations?
Well, primarily they are accepted because they are meticulously built upon a foundation of verifiable archaeological evidence.
These you can dig up and analyze.
Exactly. Plus, rigorous climate data, well-developed socioeconomic and environmental models. They provide testable hypotheses and coherent narratives supported by empirical findings.
Findings that can be replicated and reviewed by other scholars.
That empirical grounding, along with the whole process of peer review within academia, is what gives them academic weight, makes them robust explanations for observed historical phenomena.
They're not just stories, they're conclusions drawn from careful, systematic study.
Ideally, yes, that's the goal. # alternative theories.
But then there's the other side of the coin. A lot of people are drawn to alternative theories, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. They often offer a more dramatic or mysterious narrative.
Someone like Graham Hancock, for example. He suggests the existence of lost advanced civilizations predating mainstream timelines.
Often attributing sophisticated knowledge or technologies to these forgotten cultures. His ideas are certainly controversial within academic circles,
Very controversial.
but have garnered immense popularity among the public, largely due to their intriguing, often dramatic claims about hidden history.
And beyond Hancock, you find various fringe theories. Things like extraterrestrial intervention,
The idea that aliens played a role in building pyramids or caused disappearances.
or the concept of Atlantis-like mother cultures that supposedly seeded ancient civilizations with advanced knowledge.
While these theories are largely dismissed by academia due to a fundamental lack of verifiable empirical evidence.
They remain deeply entrenched in pop culture narratives. They offer a certain allure, don't they? Hidden knowledge, secret histories. It's a fascinating pull, isn't it? Why do we crave these alternative explanations so much? What is the allure of the hidden history?
The idea that there's something more profound or mysterious going on than what mainstream science tells us.
Is it a desire for magic in a world that often feels too rational? A distrust of established institutions, maybe?
Or perhaps a resistance to the idea that complex problems can have mundane, interconnected causes rather than a single dramatic answer.
It could be any or all of those.
That's an excellent point. This is precisely where the importance of critical thinking really comes to the forefront.
As listeners, as learners.
It's essential to distinguish between evidence-based scholarship and speculation. While curiosity is vital, we have to ask, what evidence supports this claim? Is it verifiable?
Does it stand up to rigorous scrutiny by independent researchers? Does it align with the broader body of established scientific and historical understanding?
Or does it rely on isolated anomalies, misinterpretations, maybe leaps of faith? It's not about dismissing curiosity at all, but about grounding it in sound methodology.
We need to evaluate claims based on their scientific merit, rather than simply their entertainment value or how well they fit a preconceived narrative.
A crucial skill in today's information landscape.
You're absolutely right. It's about discerning what's truly supported by the evidence. And to make these theories, these concepts, feel even more tangible, let's bring the discussion to life with some concrete examples, archaeological discoveries from our source material.
Yeah, let's get specific. These are the case studies that make the abstract real. Give us a glimpse into the human experience of these ancient civilizations.
Okay, let's return to the Indus Valley, Mohenjo-Daro's Great Bath.
Ah, yes. This isn't just any old puddle. It's a massive, intricately constructed public bath, likely used for ritual cleansing or communal ceremonies.
Describe it for us. How big are we talking?
Imagine a grand, almost Olympic-sized pool. Well, maybe not that big, but impressive. About 12 meters long, 7 meters wide, and 2.4 meters deep.
Meticulously constructed with precisely cut bricks.
And crucially made waterproof with a thick layer of natural tar or bitumen. Centuries before, similar waterproofing techniques were common elsewhere.
It had broad steps leading down into the water, maybe adjoining rooms for changing or gathering.
Exactly. It's an incredible structure.
So, what does something like this indicate about their society, beyond just amazing engineering?
It's profoundly telling, I think. It suggests that spiritual hygiene, or maybe just ritual purity, was a significant communal value, ingrained in their societal priorities.
Centuries before modern sanitation concepts were even a twinkle in anyone's eye.
This wasn't just about practical cleanliness. It implies a deep cultural, possibly religious significance, a shared value system that necessitated such a grand public amenity.
It speaks volumes about their communal life, their shared beliefs.
And the highly organized administration required to not only build but also maintain such a public facility, ensuring clean water, efficient drainage.
It's a powerful testament to a society that prioritized collective well-being and ritual purity. Really gives you a sense of their values.
Absolutely.
Now, let's look at a more poignant, maybe more human example from the Maya, the fall of Copan.
Right. We have incredibly powerful insights here because their own hieroglyphs, carved onto the very monuments they erected, describe what was happening.
It's like reading a contemporaneous news report etched in stone from a collapsing society.
They describe periods of severe drought, widespread food shortages, intensified warfare between rival city-states. It's all there.
And this leads us to what the source eloquently calls a real-life echo of the Titanic orchestra.
Think about that image. The ship sinking, but the musicians playing on, maintaining a facade of normalcy or grandeur until the very end.
In Copan, even as their civilization was clearly crumbling, environmental collapse due to overpopulation, resource scarcity, internal conflict raging.
The elites continued building monumental structures. They kept erecting those grand steles, celebrating their rulers, documenting achievements, legitimizing power.
Essentially documenting their own decline, even as they seemingly denied it.
It provides such a profound insight into human tragedy and psychology during a crisis.
It really begs the question, what does this tell us about political leadership during crises?
How might this mirror similar behaviors we observe in modern times, where leaders might prioritize appearances, maintaining a narrative, adhering to outdated ideologies?
Over urgent, pragmatic solutions, in the face of widespread suffering or systemic decline, hoping perhaps the problem will just go away.
It's a deeply unsettling parallel, perhaps.
Okay, our third case takes us back to Mesopotamia, to the fall of the magnificent city of around 2000 BCE.
Right. Archaeological findings here show clear signs of mass displacement and urban abandonment.
And this specific collapse is strongly connected to climate shifts and raids, isn't it?
That's the consensus, yes. For centuries, relied on complex irrigation systems from the Euphrates River.
But a prolonged period of drought seems to have severely reduced water flow. Big problem for agriculture.
Simultaneously, you had the relentless expansion of semi-nomadic Amorite tribes from the west. Facing their own resource challenges, they led increased raids, put pressure on the Mesopotamian heartland.
But what's truly haunting is a particular archaeological finding within the city itself. Yes, people buried in collapsed homes, hinting at a sudden traumatic event.
This isn't just a dry historical fact. It provides such a stark human detail of collapse. It's visceral.
It suggests that for some, the end came swiftly, violently, maybe an unexpected, devastating attack by invaders.
Or perhaps a rapid environmental degradation that made life instantly unsustainable, leaving no time for escape.
It contrasts sharply with the gradual deurbanization we talked about in the Indus Valley.
Absolutely. And these specific archaeological findings provide tangible, undeniable evidence for the theories of collapse we've discussed. Environmental pressures, social breakdown, political conflict.
They give us that visceral connection to the past, reminding us of the real human cost of these huge civilizational shifts.
It's not just abstract history, it's about people's lives.
These direct examples really do bring the past to life, but it's also crucial, I think, to acknowledge that our perspective on these vanished civilizations is often shaped by our own cultural background, our own historical narratives.
That's a really important point. Our lens matters.
So it's time to challenge ourselves. Maybe consider alternative narratives that offer a richer, more nuanced understanding. #, Western versus Indigenous narratives, Maya.
This is a powerful point, especially concerning the Maya. In Western academia, particularly in the earlier days of archaeology, there's often been this pervasive narrative that the Maya were lost.
Right, a mysterious civilization that simply disappeared, leaving cities swallowed by the jungle.
However, if you speak to indigenous communities in Central America today, millions of people who identify as Maya, their narrative is profoundly different.
Which is?
The Maya never went anywhere.
That's a huge distinction. It completely reframes the narrative, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What does that mean in practice for how we understand their history?
It means that while the grand urban centers of the classic period may have been abandoned, the Maya people themselves continued to exist.
They adapted.
Exactly. They shifted their population centers, they preserved their languages. Dozens of distinct Mayan languages are still spoken today. They maintained their traditions, adapted their agricultural practices.
Carrying forward a continuous cultural stream through centuries of upheaval, colonial conquest, modern challenges.
It highlights the ongoing life of the culture beyond the abandonment of specific urban centers.
It's a vital counter-narrative, challenging that potentially narrow Western-centric view of history that often focuses on ruins and disappearance,
rather than resilience and continuity. It reminds us that civilization isn't just about stone cities, it's about people and their enduring culture.
A much-needed perspective shift. #, Indian scholars, Indus Valley.
Similarly with the Indus Valley Civilization, many Indian scholars don't view it as a completely distinct, vanished other that simply ended.
How do they see it?
Instead, they often see the IVC as part of a continuous cultural stream that flows into later Indian civilization.
Emphasizing historical continuity and identity.
Right. Suggesting that elements of IBC culture, technology, societal organization may have transformed and integrated into subsequent periods rather than just disappearing into oblivion.
So maybe some religious motifs, city planning principles, agricultural techniques. They persisted and evolved into later forms of Indian culture.
That's the argument. It changes the narrative from one of complete disappearance to one of transformation and enduring legacy, highlighting the deep roots of Indian civilization.
Another way of seeing continuity rather than just collapse. #, Mesopotamian influence on Islamic Golden Age thinkers.
And finally, let's not overlook that fascinating thread connecting Mesopotamia to the Islamic Golden Age.
Right. The source mentions that Mesopotamian culture significantly influenced Islamic Golden Age thinkers, but this influence is often under-acknowledged in Western historiography.
This is a critical point about recognizing cross-cultural intellectual lineages, the interconnectedness of knowledge across history.
So the vast body of knowledge painstakingly gathered in Mesopotamia, especially in astronomy and mathematics, wasn't simply lost.
Not at all. It was preserved, translated, studied, and importantly built upon by scholars during the Islamic Golden Age, which flourished roughly from the 8th to the 14th centuries CE.
Think of the advancements in algebra, celestial mapping that blossomed in places like Baghdad or Cordoba.
Many had direct roots in Mesopotamian observations and systems. For example, those meticulous astronomical tables compiled in Mesopotamia were crucial for Islamic astronomers, who later developed highly sophisticated observatories and refined celestial calculations.
So why is this often under-acknowledged in Western history?
Good question. Perhaps due to a Eurocentric focus that prioritizes a direct lineage from Greco-Roman thought, or simply a lack of broad awareness of the incredible intellectual exchanges that shaped global knowledge.
So how does acknowledging these different cultural narratives enrich our understanding, prevent a narrow, biased view?
It opens up a much richer, more interconnected tapestry of human knowledge and development. It shows how ideas flow and transform across cultures and centuries. It challenges that idea of isolated civilizations and highlights a more global, interconnected past.
A much more accurate picture, probably.
I think so.
That's a crucial point, recognizing those broader connections. Okay, let's try and bring it all together now. Guide you through a concise summary of the enduring strength of these civilizations, their undeniable weaknesses that led to their decline, and importantly, the potential dangers in how we interpret these ancient collapses today. #tag strengths, what they gave us.
Okay, first let's acknowledge their strengths. These civilizations weren't just destined to fail, they were incredibly successful for long periods. Some lasted for thousands of years.
They truly laid the groundwork for so much of what we consider foundational to civilization.
The very concept of systematic writing, the principles of urban planning that still influence city design today, sophisticated systems of governance and law that brought order, facilitated complex societies.
Their remnants offer incredibly rich lessons in sustainability, how to manage scarce resources for millennia, in societal resilience in the face of adversity, and in the boundless power of human innovation.
We must remember that these were not just societies that eventually fell, but societies that achieved immensely. They left an indelible mark on human history, shaping the trajectory of human progress in profound ways.
They weren't failures, they were complex systems that eventually transformed or declined.
Exactly. #check weakness is why they fell.
But as we've explored, they also had significant weaknesses, which ultimately contributed to their decline. They were inherently vulnerable, it seems, to environmental and political instability.
And the source highlights that over-centralization of power and resources led to rapid decline when systems were disrupted.
Which loops right back to Tainter's theory. Increasing complexity leading to fragility.
Right. When a complex, highly centralized system, whether it's an intricate irrigation network susceptible to salinization, a political structure dependent on one leader, a supply chain with critical single points of failure when that gets disrupted.
The entire edifice can come crashing down far more rapidly and severely than a simpler, more decentralized one.
Their very sophistication, while a strength for a time, ironically became a vulnerability when faced with cascading pressures.
It's a powerful lesson in the double-edged sword of complexity. What makes you strong can also make you brittle.
Precisely. #tag dangers, how we misinterpret them.
And this leads us to the dangers of misinterpreting their stories today. There's a real risk, isn't there, that romanticizing their downfall can obscure ongoing systemic failures in the modern world.
Yeah, really. If we view their collapse as some grand, inevitable tragedy unique to the distant past, we might fail to see the similar vulnerabilities we face today.
In our own complex systems, climate inaction, growing economic inequality, political polarization, decaying infrastructure.
We might miss the subtle warning signs in our own societies because we're looking for a dramatic Hollywood-style apocalypse rather than a slow, complex unraveling.
And furthermore, the misappropriation of their legacy by pseudoscientific movements or conspiracy theorists risks spreading misinformation and undermining evidence-based understanding.
These are often theories that present themselves as scientific, but lack empirical evidence, lack rigorous peer review. They often appeal to sensationalism, hidden knowledge,
or even promote divisive agendas rather than verifiable facts.
And this is a crucial point for you, the listener, the learner. It's vital to be a discerning consumer of information about ancient civilizations.
To separate solid archaeological and scientific evidence from speculation, misinterpretation, or narratives driven by ulterior motives.
Discernment is absolutely paramount when sifting through the vast amounts of information available today to ensure we learn the real lessons, not distorted ones.
Sound advice.
So as we bring this deep dive to a thoughtful close, what profound lessons can we really take away from the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro citadel, the intricate glyphs of Maya stele, or those cuneiform tablets buried beneath Mesopotamian sands?
It's clear these were not primitive peoples. Not by a long shot. They were complex, adaptive, deeply human societies.
Grappling with challenges that in many ways parallel our own. Their stories are a testament to human ingenuity, ambition,
but also to our inherent vulnerabilities.
Their disappearance isn't merely a historical mystery to be solved, is it? It's more like a powerful mirror held up to our world,
reflecting not just our past, but potentially our future.
It contains both a warning about the fragility of even the greatest achievements in the face of environmental stress, internal strife, systemic overcomplexity.
And a whisper of wisdom, perhaps, reminding us of human ingenuity, resilience, the enduring quest for meaning and order, even amidst the most profound challenges.
It truly makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we navigate our own era of unprecedented complexity and global challenges.
Are we unknowingly repeating their mistakes?
Or can we finally heed their silent lessons, etched in stone and buried in sand, guiding us towards a more resilient, maybe more sustainable future?
It's a question, I suppose, for all of us to ponder as we build our world on the echoes of theirs.